Dandy escapes from marriage. Chapter 59. During the autumn harvest season, the villagers were busy in the fields, leaving Shen Cao and Lu Shu as the most idle in the entire village. Lu Shu slept until late morning, had lunch upon waking up, then leisurely went back to bed. Shen Cao sat under the eaves, playing with Fugui, with a constant smile on his face. "Brother K, here's a basket of sweet potatoes for you all." Aunt Zhu entered the courtyard carrying a basket of freshly dug sweet potatoes, her voice loud and full of warmth. "Thank you, Aunt Zhu." Shen Cao hurried forward to help with the load. When she was about to speak again, he made a hushing gesture and said in a low voice, "Xiao Wu is still sleeping." "He's still sleeping at this hour?" Aunt Zhu asked in surprise, lowering her voice. "I heard he's doing business in town. Is it that exhausting?" "Yeah," Shen Cao blinked nervously, thinking of something and smiled. "It's quite tiring." "Well," Aunt Zhu rubbed her rough hands, a shy expression on her plain face. "It's a bit embarrassing to ask, but I wanted to inquire if Xiao Wu's rouge could be sold at a friendly price." "Of course, I'll talk to him when he wakes up." Shen Cao smiled. "I've never used that stuff, not sure if it's suitable." Aunt Zhu looked a bit uneasy. "It's suitable for anyone," Shen Cao assured her. Aunt Zhu smiled happily. "All right, please help me ask. Tonight we're grinding tofu at home. You two can come over in the evening to pick up some, and we'll also save some tofu pudding for you." Aunt Zhu had a stone mill at home, and the tofu she made was the tenderest. Lu Shu loved it, especially the tofu pudding as it's sweet and tender, melting in the mouth. "Thank you, Aunt Zhu." After Aunt Zhu left, Shen Cao brought all the sweet potatoes into the house. He heard Lu Shu mumbling from the bed, "Ah Cao! What's wrong?" Shen Cao immediately entered the room, sat down beside the bed, and looked down at him. "Did I wake you up? Or is something bothering you?" Lu Shu shifted, resting his head on Shen Cao's leg, his eyes sleepy. "Accompany me to sleep." "All right." Little did Shen Cao know that as soon as he lay down, Lu Shu's hands became restless. Lu Shu lifted his head innocently. "Since there's nothing to do today, why not?" *******. In the evening, a sweaty Lu Shu was carried off for a bath, his eyes losing focus. "Damn it, did I underestimate you?" "Maybe not, you can keep trying." Shen Cao smiled, scrubbing his back, his gaze falling on the scattered red marks on his skin. He bent down and kissed his shoulder lightly. Lu Shu shivered slightly, turned to look at him with his chin slightly raised. "I'm not falling for it." Shen Cao glanced sideways at him, their eyes locking for a long moment. "All right." Eventually, Lu Shu was tempted by desire, taking the initiative to kiss him. His hands alternated between gripping the tub's edge and touching Shen Cao's body, wetting their clothes until both squeezed into the same tub. As night fell completely, the birds in the mountains chirped incessantly, their calls varying in intensity, never ceasing. Exhausted and hungry after their bath, Shen Cao dressed and went to Aunt Zhu's house to fetch tofu, returning with a lot of snacks. "Why so much?" Lu Shu lazily sprawled on the bed, unwilling to get up. "I don't want to move, you feed me." Shen Cao fed him snacks by the bed. "I met some other people at Aunt Zhu's place. I took the opportunity to inform them of our engagement. After they recovered from their shock, they gave us these as gifts." Lu Shu couldn't stop laughing. "Aren't you afraid they'll be scared?" "It would have to be said sooner or later. It's better when everyone's around, it's a good opportunity." The next day, Lu Shu went to town in the morning as it was coincidentally a market day. Several villagers wanted a ride, so they all traveled together. The atmosphere inside the carriage was awkward, everyone stealing glances at each other, waiting for someone to break the silence. Finally, Lu Shu took the initiative. "That's right, Ah Cao and I are getting married. Both Beijing and Jinling are too far from here, so you don't need to come for the wedding banquet. When we return, we'll have 2 tables set up in the village and invite everyone for a meal. You're all welcome. I'm in. Sister Xiang slapped her thigh. It's been ages since I attended a wedding banquet. Others also opened up about their affairs, discussing their own wedding banquet due to regional customs, causing the conversation to wander off topic. However, the atmosphere soon returned to normal. That evening, Lu Shu returned to the village, followed by a carriage. Shen Kao was in the yard shelling peas. Curiously, he turned his head and saw several craftsmen getting down from the carriage behind him and carrying a large bed into the courtyard. I've been saying this bed needed to be replaced. Lu Shu flicked the jade pendant at his waist, looking very pleased. Shen Kao couldn't help but smile wryly. Autumn didn't last long before the cold swiftly invaded and winter came. Within a month, everyone was wearing winter clothes. Shen Kao learned from the villagers that it was time to plant potatoes. He bought a basket of potatoes, cut them into evenly sized pieces, and dug holes in the field to plant them. He didn't plant many, mainly wanting to witness the entire growth process firsthand. Therefore, it wasn't particularly tiring. Whenever he had free time, he would record and read. Time passed even faster when Lu Shu returned at night. Business at Lu Shu's shop also became more prosperous. Recently, Zhang Moyang and his sister came back specifically to open another shop. After discussion, Zhang Moyang went to look for another new shop. One day, a distinguished guest arrived at their home. The guest hesitated outside the door for half a day, then hesitated in the yard for another half a day before finally hesitatingly went inside the house and spent another half a day in disbelief. You live in this rundown place? I thought at least you'd find a decent house in town. How did you end up like this? Lu Yuezhuo exclaimed in surprise. Didn't I tell you before? We live in the village. Lu Shu helped her sit down. Mom, why did you suddenly come? I came to see you. Aunt, please have some tea. Shen Kao brought the brewed tea to her. Lu Yuezhuo finished the tea but still couldn't believe the scene before her eyes, a shabby house with nothing to catch the eye except for that brand new big bed. No, I can't just watch you live in such a place. But Ah Cao's potatoes are halfway planted. We can't move. Mrs. Liu's efficiency was exceptionally high. The next day, she brought a large group of craftsmen to start building a new house next to the old one. She then sent an experienced steward to supervise the work and gracefully returned to Jinling to conduct her business. Every day, the villagers passing by the road would look up and sigh in admiration. Seeing that a large and beautiful house was about to be completed, Shen Kao and Lu Shu also needed to return to the capital. The Shen family was involved in court affairs and during the Lunar New Year, there were many tasks in the palace, so it was not suitable for them to leave the capital. Therefore, they discussed holding the ceremony directly in the capital. In the 12th month, heavy snow fell, and their carriage headed north. Wrapped in a blanket, Lu Shu held a hot water bottle and still shivered. Is it always this cold? Winters in Jinling aren't this cold. Shen Kao opened his arms and pulled him close, rubbing his hands. Is this better? Lu Shu blinked, then said, my lips feel like they're freezing too. Can you do something about it as well? What can I do? Shen Kao chuckled. Knowing he was teasing, Lu Shu grabbed his collar and kissed him quickly. After a moment, Shen Kao covered his hand, kissing him tenderly while patiently warming his fingers. When lively voices outside the carriage became audible, Lu Shu's face flushed as he asked, have we arrived? Yet. Shen Kao lifted the curtain, looking at the familiar streets, unable to suppress a smile. We're in the capital. I want to go out and take a look. Lu Shu got out of the carriage, gazing at the sights of the capital. Let's walk around. Shen Kao took out a large cloak and draped it over him, suggesting a route. Okay. The roads in the capital were wider than those in Jinling, bustling with more pedestrians, and the shops were taller and larger. It was a scene of prosperity with many people dressed in red and green. Occasionally, officials and soldiers patrolled the streets, maintaining order in the city, solemn and dignified, unlike the relaxed atmosphere of Jinling. Lu Shu looked around with a mixture of curiosity and caution. The capital had always impressed him with its majesty, as if one wrong move could mean trouble. Sensing his discomfort, Shen Cao held his hand and whispered, "There's no need to be afraid. The capital isn't a place that devours people." Lu Shu nodded and tried to relax. At that moment, Shen Cao led him into a shop and said, "I want to buy some clothes for my parents. Can you help me choose?" "Sure, no problem." Lu Shu quickly got into action, selecting several pieces of clothing in the store. Madame Shen has a gentle temperament, so these simple and cleanly lined robes suit her best. Actually, she's so beautiful that brighter colors would complement her complexion. As for your father, he doesn't prefer flashy attire, so let's take this dark one. It looks understated overall, but the embroidery on the cuffs is quite special, clearly done by a skilled embroiderer. Shen Cao watched him talk confidently and smiled gently. "All right, I'll go with your choices. And for my sister-in-law, would you help pick something for her, too? I haven't met her. What kind of person is she?" Lu Shu asked curiously. "She has a calm appearance, but her temperament doesn't quite match her looks," Shen Cao chuckled. "Oh." Lu Shu picked out another set of clothes, a thin layer of plain gauze covering a vivid red shirt inside, both striking and restrained. Originally intending to divert his attention, Shen Cao found that Lu Shu had a keen eye for clothing. At a glance, he could gauge the skill of the embroiderer, feel the quality of the fabric, recognize the style's origin, and pick the most suitable clothes for each person. After leaving the shop, Shen Cao asked, "Does your family own a cloth shop?" "We actually started from a cloth shop," Lu Shu replied. "Would you like to open one?" "I've thought about it, but the Lu family's cloth business is already quite large. Why bother start a new one? If my father is willing to hand over the business to me someday, I wouldn't refuse," Lu Shu said. "Have you refused before?" "Yeah, I was more interested in having fun back then. I didn't want to flatter officials like my father did everywhere. Even if the business grew big, I would still have to flatter officials to sell merchandise." Finally understanding why he had been resistant to becoming an official, Shen Cao asked, "So why wouldn't you refuse now?" Lu Shu glanced at him and smiled, "Now I have you. Besides, your brother and father are good officials. You'll definitely be better than them in the future. Not all officials are only interested in power and wealth. Just thinking that there might be more officials out there who genuinely care about the people makes me less afraid." Shen Cao smiled and gently touched his cheek, about to say something when Lu Shu suddenly interrupted. "Oh no, I should be the one paying for these. How could I forget to buy gifts? No, I must go buy some more." Lu Shu turned around and hurried back into the shop. Saying he would buy a few more, he came out with both hands full of boxes, leaving the shopkeeper delighted. Not satisfied with just that, he ran to several more shops in succession. Shen Cao ended up with arms full of things, almost unable to see the road. He had to find a sedan chair, load everything inside, and when he turned around, he realized Lu Shu was nowhere to be seen. ******. Mom, why is that big brother buying rouge, too?" a little girl asked. The woman holding her was picking something with her head down. Hearing this, she replied without looking up, "Because the shopkeeper welcomes everyone who buy things when the door is open. Anyone can buy things, regardless of age or gender." "I see, Mom, I want to buy, too." "You don't need it." "Wah, you lied to me. Didn't you say anyone can buy? You're not a person. You're a fairy. Fairies don't need these things." "Wow, I'm a fairy." Lu Shu chuckled and couldn't help but glance back at the mother and daughter, catching the little girl's tearful expression turn into a smile. "Mom, that big brother is really handsome. Don't always look at men when you go out. Be careful or your dad will get jealous. Why, I miss dad. It's been so long since I've seen him. And uncle, where did they all go? The little girl started crying again. Just then, a piece of walnut pastry appeared in front of her. She looked up at the big brother with confusion. Is this for me? Yeah, if you eat it, you won't cry anymore. Right. Why? The girl asked innocently. Lu Shu was caught off guard by the question and wasn't sure how to answer. Because if you eat something from someone, you'll be inclined to soften your heart. The woman smiled. Lu Shu, is that so? If you eat Big Brother's walnut pastry, you have to promise not to cry today. Do you still want to eat it? The woman asked again. I want to. The girl wiped her tears and shyly took the walnut pastry from him. Thank you, Big Brother. I won't cry today, I promise. So adorable. Lu Shu smiled and crouched down to chat with her. What's your name? I'm Ning Er. Big Brother, what's your name? I'm Lu Shu. You can also call me Xiao Wu. The woman suddenly paused, glanced at his smiling profile meaningfully and asked, Young master is buying rouge, are you planning to give it as a gift? Yes, Lu Shu replied. Young master is very talented. I wonder which lucky girl will receive such a carefully chosen gift from you. I actually haven't met her, Lu Shu smiled awkwardly. The woman's smile faltered slightly. Oh? You don't know who she is, yet you're buying rouge for her. Yeah, I haven't given any other girl gifts before. I lack experience. Could you please advise me on what gifts girls in the capital like? Lu Shu asked earnestly. The woman was silent for a moment before saying, Then let me ask, who is this gift for? Is it for someone special? No, nothing like that. Lu Shu quickly shook his head, It's for my sister-in-law. The woman paused, her eyes flickering, then she smiled, So, are you meeting the in-laws? Yes, it's our first meeting and I'm not sure what would be a good gift, so I came to look at rouge. Lu Shu smiled awkwardly. As he finished speaking, the woman suddenly handed him the selected rouge. He looked at her in confusion, and she smiled, Then buy this one. She'll definitely like it. Really? Lu Shu asked uncertainly. Yeah, let's go pay. Okay. Lu Shu reluctantly went to pay, picked up the box as he passed by them, and bid farewell. Thank you, miss. Until we meet again. Until we meet again, the woman smiled. Goodbye, Xiao Wu. The little girl waved her hand while munching on walnut pastry. Lu Shu briskly walked out of the shop, looking around until he bumped into Shen Cao. Where did you go? Shen Cao asked anxiously. I went to buy some rouge for your sister-in-law, Lu Shu replied. Shen Cao chuckled, Let's go, or we'll miss lunch. All right. The two of them sat in the sedan chair, with Lu Shu constantly lifting the curtain to look at the scenery outside. After passing through several main streets, shops and pedestrians became sparse, but there were more mansions around. Wow, everything looks so grand! Lu Shu exclaimed as he looked at a row of majestic buildings, feeling both shocked and envious. Is this really the capital? When the sedan chair finally stopped, he followed Shen Cao out and immediately saw the mansion ahead. The plaque read solemnly Shen Mansion, where servants were bustling in and out. This must be it. We're here, Shen Cao said, turning to pick up their things. Just as Lu Shu was glancing around, he spotted a mother and daughter walking towards him. He ran up to them excitedly. What a coincidence, I see you again. Yeah, what a coincidence, the woman smiled. Xiao Wu, I want to eat walnut pastry again. Do you have any left? Ning Er looked up and asked. Lu Shu gave her the last one he had and said with a smile, I'll ask another big brother to get you some later. He brought a lot. Wow! Lu Shu chuckled and patted her cute head. asking, "Where are you two going?" "Back home," the woman replied. "Oh, okay. I won't keep you then, please go ahead." Lu Shu quickly stepped aside to let them pass. The woman smiled at him, then suddenly patted the girl's shoulder and pointed ahead, "Ning-er, look, who's that?" Ning-er turned her head and immediately ran forward, opening her arms wide. "Ah, it's uncle. Uncle. Lu Shu, ... Shen Cao had just stabilized the things in his hands and turned around at the sound, delightedly saying, "Ning-er." Ning-er hugged his thigh and shook it, "Hug me." After Shen Cao put down his things, he lifted her up. "Did you miss me?" "I did, I missed you every day, almost cried every day." "Will you?" Ning-er's eyes welled up, but upon seeing Lu Shu approaching, she held back her tears. I promised Xiao Wu that I wouldn't cry today." "Do you know Xiao Wu?" Shen Cao asked incredulously. Lu Shu was equally astonished. Your family." The woman turned her head, smiling gently as she corrected him. "Yes, we are." End chapter. Dandy escapes from marriage. Chapter 60. Several people entered the mansion together, and the servants quickly went to announce their arrival. Soon after, Madame Shen hurried out, smiling, "You've been through a lot on the way, Xiao Wu, let me see if you've lost weight." "Not at all, in fact, I've gained a few pounds." "Winter is good for putting on some extra weight," Lu Shu replied with a charming smile. "That's good." Madame Shen chatted with him for a while before introducing someone. "This is Shen Huai's wife, Wu Su, Ah Cao's sister-in-law." Lu Shu nodded respectfully. "Hello, sister-in-law. This is Ning-er, Ah Cao's niece." "Hello, niece, oh, I mean, Ning-er, hello." Ning-er responded cheerfully, "Hello, Xiao Wu Gerger." "Ah, you should call him." Madame Shen paused and turned to ask Shen Cao, what should she call him? "Uncle, call him Uncle Xiao Wu," Shen Cao suggested. Madame Shen coaxed Ning-er to use the new title, then turned to Lu Shu with a smile, "You can give me the rouge now." "Oh, right." Lu Shu quickly took out the gift and handed it to them. "Oh, robes!" Wu Su exclaimed with delight, "Thank you, I really like it." Madame Shen smiled kindly, accepted the gifts and ordered the servants to prepare lunch and said, "Yanking is still at the Hanlin Academy and won't be back until the afternoon. Let's have lunch first without waiting for him." Shen Cao led Lu Shu to sit down, originally worried that he might feel uncomfortable but found that he was chatting with Ning-er beside him and occasionally exchanging a few words with his sister-in-law. They looked like a family already. After lunch, Shen Cao took him to rest in the backyard and also showed him around the Shen family residence. Compared to the magnificent layout of the Lu family, the Shen family residence was more simple and solemn, with calligraphy on the walls and paintings on the pillars under the corridor. "Who wrote all these?" Lu Shu asked curiously. "I did," Shen Cao pointed. "You?" Lu Shu pointed at the paintings on the pillars, "And these?" Shen Cao nodded. Lu Shu stopped in his tracks, pondering carefully. As he walked closer to the walls, almost touching them, he wondered aloud, "You wrote and painted on the walls, and your parents didn't stop you?" Back in the day, he was once confined for several days just for doodling a few tortoises on the wall by Lu Yuezhu. "Yeah, I was mischievous when I was young. I copied a poem on the wall once, and father said I could write once a year and have craftsmen carve them out. What you see now was written when I was 16, Shen Cao explained. As they walked further, the handwriting became more childish, and Lu Shu gently touched the uneven walls, feeling as if he had touched Shen Cao's childhood history. "Your father is really kind." "Yeah." At the end of their tour, they turned a corner and entered a small garden. Shen Cao pointed to a house behind the artificial hill and said, "That's Dagur's courtyard and mine is the one opposite it." "Yeah." Lu Shu looked around and walked near the artificial hill, curiously examining it for a while, Have you climbed this? No. Flowers were planted under the artificial hill, and he carefully stepped on the open ground. Then his gaze froze and he squatted down to ask, "What's this?" "What?" Shen Cao curiously came over and found a painting at the bottom of the artificial hill. This painting was not carved by craftsmen but crudely engraved on stone. It was simple, depicting two little boys bowing to each other, as if apologizing. The two stared at each other slowly, and Lu Shu asked, "Did you draw this, too?" "I think so," Shen Cao said embarrassedly, as he was the only one in the mansion who liked writing and drawing everywhere. Are you sure this is me? I thought you couldn't remember." "Through the years I've forgotten the details but your figure remains the clearest," Shen Cao said. "Since I couldn't remember much, I haven't engraved anyone else on stone again, so this little boy must be you." Lu Shu's face brimmed with a smile. He kissed Shen Cao's cheek and chuckled, "Looks like you really resented me back then. How do you know it wasn't longing?" Shen Cao teased. "Uncle, I want to eat walnut cakes," Ning shouted from nearby. Turning back, Shen Cao still had a smile on his lips as he asked, "Why are you alone? Where's your mother?" "She just left," Ning pointed. They exchanged a knowing smile. "Come, let's go eat walnut cakes," Shen Cao said, approaching and taking Ning hand, then lowering his voice to whisper something to her. Ning nodded and reached out her hand to Lu Shu, "Uncle Xiao Wu, hold hands." In Shen Cao's room, Ning naturally sat down on a low stool, swinging her legs and waiting for snacks. Meanwhile, Lu Shu looked around the room, amazed at the numerous books. "I thought those few boxes of books at home were all that you have, but it turns out they're just a drop in the ocean." "I have a study, too," Shen Cao chuckled. "Wow! Was your childhood happy?" "Quite happy." Shen Cao took out the walnut cakes, giving Ning 2 pieces and Lu Shu 5. "Uncle, why do I have so few?" Ning asked as she ate. "Eating too much will rot your teeth." "Then why does Uncle Xiao Wu have so many? He's a grown-up." "I want to grow up, too. When I grow up, my teeth won't rot, and I can get married." "You want to get married?" "Yeah, Mom said you and Uncle Xiao Wu are getting married, so I want to marry Uncle Xiao Wu, too." Shen Cao was at a loss for words. "Uncle Xiao Wu can only marry me. When you grow up, you can find someone you like. Is that okay?" Ning pouted and looked at Lu Shu, who grinned and promptly stuffed all 5 pieces of walnut cake into his mouth. Ning O_O. Ning oh, Uncle Xiao Wu eats too much. I won't marry him. Apart from his love for walnut cakes, which Ning didn't like very much, Uncle Xiao Wu was likable in every other way. Over the next few days, Ning stuck to Lu Shu like glue. He dressed her up in beautiful clothes like a princess, took her to eat delicious food, and even taught her how to ride a horse, which was quite impressive. When Shen Hui returned home, he noticed a change in the family dynamics. Mother, sister-in-law, and even his daughter were all charmed by this young master Lu Shu. They sat together gossiping and couldn't seem to stop. Shen Hui wondered why he had never seen his mother and sister-in-law chat so much before. "Dad! You're back!" Ning happily exclaimed, then turned to Lu Shu, "Uncle Xiao Wu, my dad's back. Can you carry me to see him?" Shen Hui, ... Asterisk. As the new year approached, the mansion bustled with preparations for the young master's wedding, a great family affair for the Shen. Everyone was meticulously arranging details. The Lu family members finally arrived in the capital. Several elders immediately engaged in animated discussions about the specifics, while Lu Shu's brothers, upon entering the Shen household, became as timid as quails, barely daring to make a sound. In the blink of an eye, it was the 28th day of the 12th month. Before dawn, Lu Shu rose from bed and allowed the maidservants to attend to his grooming and dressing. Lu Yuejia circled around him incessantly, sometimes feeling the wedding attire wasn't fancy enough, other times deeming the accessories too plain, wishing everything was adorned with gold to showcase his wealth and status. I'm about to cross the threshold. It's too late to make changes now, Lu Shu chuckled. I know, I'm just a bit nervous, Lu Yuejia said, holding her hand to her chest. Nervous about what? Lu Yuejia gripped his hand, eyes reddening. How time flies. In the blink of an eye, you're already getting married. Over these years, I've been busy with business and haven't been able to take good care of you. Sometimes, I wish I could just stay quietly in the inner courtyard and accompany you. But I'm also unwilling, fearing you might be mistreated outside. Only when others respect me can you avoid being looked down upon. Lu Shu hugged her, smiling. Mom, you're the best mother in the world. The happiest thing in my life is being your son. Moved to tears, Lu Yuejia smiled through them. Isn't getting married the happiest thing for you? This is my greatest joy. You rascal, Lu Yuejia playfully tapped him and personally placed the hairpin on him. You must be happy. I will be. Suddenly, shouts came from downstairs at the inn. Xiao Wu, Xiao Wu. We're here. Where are you? The Lu family had booked the entire inn for relatives and friends who came to rest and stay for the wedding feast. Hearing the voices, Lu Shu smiled. My friends have arrived. Lu Yuejia instructed someone to bring them up. When Zhang Moyang entered, he froze upon seeing Lu Shu dressed in bright red wedding attire. Why do you look so handsome today? I look handsome every day, Lu Shu boasted. Zhang Moshan chuckled, handing over a red packet. This is a gift of money, wishing you 100 years of happiness. Hui Shang followed suit, presenting a handwritten Buddhist scripture. May Buddha bless your union. Lu Shu, ... After chatting for a while, they heard bustling noises outside. Lu Yuejia walked over. Let's go, he's here to fetch you. Okay. Lu Shu calmly stood up, adjusted his attire, and descended the stairs briskly, leaving Mrs. Lu behind. Everyone, ... Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Pedestrians on the street had already gathered to watch the spectacle. They heard that the second young master of the prominent Shen family, unmatched in talent and appearance, was marrying the young master of the Lu family from Jinling. No one knew how these two families who were so distant from each other, had come to this marriage agreement. All they knew was that their matchmaker was the former Prince Regent Xiao, making this marriage highly significant. Everyone was curious about who exactly this young master from the Lu family was. He's coming out, someone in the crowd shouted. Everyone turned to the main gate, where amidst the entourage, they immediately recognized the young master Lu in his wedding attire, fair-skinned, bright-eyed, with a pair of eyes sparkling like pearls, standing gracefully at the door and was a sight to behold. The wedding procession slowly approached, and young Master Shen, mounted on a horse, was a rare sight as well, exuding an elegant and distant aura that made him seem only suitable for distant admiration. Despite rarely venturing out, many young ladies who caught glimpses of his demeanor had secretly admired him, though he had never shown interest in anyone. Upon his return to the capital, the announcement of his marriage left countless young ladies heartbroken. Lu Shu gazed at the man standing before him. Despite the change in location and attire, he recognized the joy in Shen Cao's smile with just one glance. Some noticed there was no bridal sedan in the procession, and the young master from the Lu family was not veiled. Just as they wondered about this, they saw Shen Cao reach out and pull Lu Shu onto his horse. The two of them rode together on one horse, heading towards the Shen mansion in style. Along the way, Lu Shu warmly waved to the common folk. Whenever someone shouted blessings at them, Lu Shu tossed a bag of sweets in return, filling the streets with well wishes. Here, take it. Everyone gets a reward. Lu Yuejia sent people to distribute sweets to the crowd, boasting, the Lu family may not have much else, but we certainly have plenty of silver. Arriving at the Shen mansion amidst much fanfare, the Shen family members greeted the guests at the entrance and ushered them inside to await the auspicious hour. Nervous? Shen Cao asked. A little bit, Lu Shu replied after nibbling on a pastry. It's my first time seeing so many high-ranking officials. Just outside, I heard so many prominent names. It's quite terrifying. Weren't you not intimated by Lord Zhao and General Yan? Why be afraid of these people? Shen Cao teased. It's different. I didn't know them beforehand, Lu Shu chuckled, seemingly thinking of something. It's been a while since I gambled. How about we make a bet? What kind of bet? Let's bet on whether Zhang Moyang will be so scared that he falls off his chair later. Shen Cao saw the eager look in his eyes and smiled. All right, what are the stakes? Asterisk asterisk asterisk. At the banquet, Zhang Moyang took Zhang Moshan's handkerchief and kept wiping his sweat nervously. Why are there so many important figures here? I want to go back. What should I do? Zhang Moshan brought over some walnuts and said, crack some walnuts to calm your nerves. You said you wouldn't be scared. Yeah, I need to stay calm. Zhang Moyang did some mental preparation, but faced with this group of dignitaries, he barely managed to stabilize himself when a servant suddenly called out, Lord Zhao and General Yan have arrived. Everyone stood up to greet them. Zhang Moyang, who was genuinely nervous, muttered, we actually get to see the Prince Regent and the General. If you shake any more, the table might flip, Hui Shang reminded him. Zhang Moyang gripped his thighs, looked up, and saw the two men walking in like stars among the crowd. He was so shocked that he almost fell off his chair, staring dumbfoundedly, is that really them? I've always heard people praise their looks, but I didn't expect them to be this impressive. Brother, calm down, Zhang Moshan advised. Zhang Moyang nodded frantically, trembling as he cracked open a walnut. After everyone took their seats, another announcement came from outside, Grand Preceptor Gao has arrived. Hope we're not too late. An elderly Grand Tutor walked in, smiling amiably. The Emperor heard that young Master Shen of the Shen family is celebrating, so he sent me with a congratulatory gift to wish the newlyweds 100 years of happiness. With a thud, Zhang Moyang couldn't hold on any longer and fell off his chair. He, Lu Shu peeked from behind a pillar, then turned to Shen Cao with a shrug, do you concede defeat? From now on, you have to listen to me forever. Deal. Shen Cao and Lu Shu high-fived. Young masters, please return to your rooms quickly. It's not the auspicious hour yet, the wedding matron anxiously whispered. She had been a wedding matron for many years, but this was the first time she had encountered the grooms sneaking out on their wedding day, leaving her sweating with worry. The two turned and quietly slipped back to their rooms. Outside was lively, but they could only wait patiently inside. Lu Shu looked up at the shelves filled with books and drifted off in thought for a moment. What are you thinking about? Shen Cao whispered, embracing him from behind. I was thinking, if we do anything here, would it be disrespectful to these sage books? Lu Shu turned around and asked. Shen Cao chuckled softly and took a step forward, forcing him to lean against the bookshelf. Sage books taught me how to think, but they didn't teach me how to hug and kiss you. A smile spread across Lu Shu's lips as he grabbed Shen Cao's collar. Then let me teach you. The room fell silent, the outside laughter and chatter seeming to dim. They could only hear each other's breathing, restraining stronger urges due to the need to keep their wedding attire neat. Suddenly, Shen Cao's hand accidentally pressed heavily on a shelf, causing a book to fall down, followed by several others cascading down. Neither Shen Cao nor Lu Shu immediately moved to pick them up. It wasn't until a knock on the door reminded them that the auspicious time had arrived that they reluctantly licked each other's lips and followed the wedding matron to the main hall. In the center sat their respective parents, smiling warmly at them. Lord Zhao stood in the middle, reciting the wedding vows for them. The hall was filled with guests, both familiar and unfamiliar, all congratulating them. They each held one end of the wedding ribbon and quietly tugged on it. As they heard Lord Xiao announce the bowing ceremony, they smiled at each other, as they had countless times before, full of joy in each other's gaze. Bow to heaven and earth. Bow to the parents. Bow to each other. With the completion of the 6 rites, may their union be as perfect as that of the mythical birds. End of the main story. Dandy escapes from marriage. Epilogue. On their wedding night, due to Shen Cao's inability to hold his liquor, Lu Shu volunteered to entertain the guests with drinks. Initially, some found it improper for the newlywed groom to leave the bridal chamber, but General Yan was the first to raise his glass, saying, "Come, brother, bottoms up." With him leading the way and seeing how sociable young Master Lu was with General Yan and Lord Xiao, the others could not say anything and joined in the drinking. Soon they discovered that young Master Lu could really hold his liquor, making rounds with the guests while remaining steady on his feet. Zhang Moyang had originally wanted to celebrate more with the wedding banquet but ended up getting drunk early and was taken back to the inn by Zhang Moshan and Hui Shang. The men of the Lu family were all good drinkers, and although Mrs. Lu also had a good tolerance for alcohol, she had to maintain decorum and only had a few sips with Madame Shen. Not only could Lu Shu hold his liquor well, he also had a silver tongue. After a few rounds, all the guests took a special liking to him. It wasn't until midnight that everyone gradually dispersed. After seeing off General Yan, Lu Shu closed his eyes and collapsed directly onto Shen Cao. Shen Cao took him back and soaked him in a tub, but even in his dazed state, Lu Shu kept talking about wanting to go to the bridal chamber. "No, let's not bathe first, let's go to the bridal chamber." "Ah Cao, why does it look like there are 2 of you?" "Oh no, maybe 3. We won't go to the bridal chamber tonight. Rest well. You've had a long day," Shen Cao replied softly. In the middle of the night, Lu Shu suddenly woke up with the urge to urinate. After dealing with his physiological needs, he staggered back to bed and grabbed Shen Cao's hand, asking, "Did we toast each other? Did we drink the nuptial wine?" "We did." "Oh. Did we go to the bridal chamber?" "We did." Lu Shu turned over a few times and sensing nothing strange with his body, he pinched Shen Cao's face in dissatisfaction as he exclaimed, "You lied to me." Shen Cao chuckled as he steadied Lu Shu's swaying body. "Aren't you sleepy? If we didn't go to the bridal chamber, I can't sleep." Lu Shu sat on him, unwilling to sleep. The red candles flickered again, casting overlapping shadows on the wall. After a while, Lu Shu lifted his neck, trembling and crying softly, before finally falling asleep in exhaustion. The next day, Lu Shu suddenly woke up, pushed open the window and saw the bright sky with snow piled up on the eaves. Shen Cao was in the courtyard building a snowman with Ning Er. Hearing the noise, he walked to the window and poked Lu Shu's face, making him shiver. "Awake? Hungry? There's soup warming in the kitchen," Shen Cao smiled. "What time is it?" Lu Shu asked in surprise. "Uncle Xiao Wu is so lazy. We've already had lunch. You've just woken up. Lazy people have to copy books." Ning Er shouted. "Oh no, did I miss the tea ceremony?" Lu Shu panicked, quickly adjusting his posture and rushing out. "Don't rush." Shen Cao stopped him at the door, handed Ning Er over to the maidservant and led him back to the room. "Your parents knew you were busy entertaining guests last night, so they cancelled the morning tea ceremony to let you rest. Would you like to sleep a little longer?" "Really? No need to rush. Yet." Lu Shu finally relaxed after drinking 2 bowls of warm soup, then dressed neatly and went out to meet his new family members. In the hall, the 4 elders and Shen Hui were deep in conversation. Wu Su and Ning Er were playing in the courtyard, creating a harmonious scene. "Mom, Dad, sorry for being late," Lu Shu smiled apologetically. "You're just waking up now," his father teased. "It's fine, come sit down quickly," Mrs. Lu and Madame Shen both said at the same time, exchanging a glance and then smiling. Mrs. Lu continued, "Xiao Wu, serve the tea." Lu Shu obediently served tea to the two elders of the Shen family, addressing them with a full smile as dad and mom. Deep smiles spread across the elders' faces. Compared to their reserved nature, when Lao Lu and Mrs. Lu received the tea from Shen Cao, their joy was almost exuberant, their laughter uncontrollable. "Isn't this a bit unconventional?" Mrs. Lu asked as she sipped her tea. "Why worry about rules among family?" Shen Yanqing chuckled. "Since Xiao Wu served us tea, it's only right that Ah Cao does the same." The next day was New Year's Eve and the Shen family rarely celebrated such a lively New Year feast with the participation of the Lu family and a few friends who had come from afar, continuing the festivities until late into the night. Lu Shu sat cross-legged on the edge of the bed, hearing the sudden sound of fireworks outside. He quickly ran out to watch. "Be careful not to catch a cold," Shen Cao said, holding a large cloak from behind and draping it over him, then pulling him into his arms. "Happy New Year!" "Happy New Year!" Lu Shu turned back, looking at him with a radiant smile, his eyes reflecting the firelight. "This is the happiest New Year I've ever had." In previous years, the entire Lu family would gather together, with several wives discussing business with weaponized words and his misbehaving brothers who would leave early. But now he was only with his parents and his new family. The two elders of the Shen family were very good to him and treated him as their own son. Shen Hui may have a sharp tongue, but he was generally a good elder brother. His sister-in-law was an interesting person, and Ning Er was even very adorable. The feeling of having family, friends, and a loved one by his side was truly wonderful. Not only this first time, but every time in the future will be happy, Shen Cao smiled. After the new year, everyone had to pack their bags and go their separate ways. The Lu family left first for a long journey back to take care of their business. Next was Zhang Moyang and his sister, along with Hui Shang, and then Shen Hui with his official duties. After the Lantern Festival, Lu Shu, Shen Cao, Wu Su, and Ning Er set off for Hui Prefecture together. Before leaving, the two of them did one more thing, which was to paint another picture on the artificial mountain. Above the two boys who apologized to each other, there was a scene of two young men bowing to each other in marriage. After Shen Cao finished the painting, Lu Shu took a knife and slowly carved so it would never disappear. On the way back, Shen Cao continued to update the record of the crops along the way, while Lu Shu played with Ning Er, teaching her to whistle one moment and shoot a slingshot the next. Ning Er's words became more carefree and less formal. She had not done calligraphy or painted for a long time. Fortunately, Wu Su was broad-minded. Not only did she not get angry, but she also encouraged her to learn more things, saying, "Children should not suppress their nature. If they want to do calligraphy, let them do calligraphy, if they want to play, let them play." Lu Shu curiously asked, "Then why did she start learning to paint from Ah Cao at the age of 2? "It's because Shen Hui felt he was stupid and couldn't match Ah Cao in calligraphy and painting, so he wanted Ning Er to become like Ah Cao and surpass Ah Cao," Wu Su said. Lu Shu laughed heartily. "Dagur wouldn't say something like that. He won't admit that he's worse than Ah Cao, as his tail would practically go up practically in the air." Lu Shu bent over laughing, leaning on Shen Cao's back uncontrollably. With laughter and joy all the way, they finally arrived in Hui Prefecture. After dropping off his sister-in-law and Ning Er to meet with Shen Hui, the two of them took a stroll through the rouge shop in Hui Prefecture before continuing on their journey. Passing through the town, Lu Shu carried a bag of candy and threw it into Chen Yinglian's shop, handing her a pouch of jewelry as well, saying, "Here, this is the compensation I promised back at the bandits' den." Chen Yinglian widened her eyes. "What else can you do, kid? I can work for you for a lifetime. We need someone to help us with farming, are you willing?" "Of course." "Good, wait for my message." The festive atmosphere in the village had not yet dissipated, with lanterns still hung under the eaves and windows were adorned with paper-cut decorations. Children in clean jackets played outside. Upon seeing the carriage, two rascals immediately ran over. Xiao Wu is back. Hearing the commotion, nearby people came out to look. Lu Shu got off the carriage and went door to door to distribute candy to everyone, receiving many blessings and fruits in return. Their new house was also nearing completion. As soon as they returned home, hot meals awaited them. The steward recruited by Mrs. Lu not only supervised construction but also managed all the household affairs, including over 20 servants also provided by Mrs. Lu. Originally, Shen Cao wanted to refuse but Lu Shu stopped him. They both had a lot on their plate, having someone to cook and do laundry was beneficial. Even if they had to farm, having more labor could lighten their load and allow him to focus more on studying for the imperial examination. After the new house was completed, they invited the villagers to a meal. Everyone sat in the spacious mansion, both surprised and apprehensive. News of their backgrounds had long spread throughout the village but they had never expected these young masters to be willing to return to the village. After a brief surprise, everyone behaved as if they were at their own homes, eating while visiting each other. There were many rooms in the new house. Hui Sheng, who had come to pray many times, said to Shen Cao, Xiao Wu's name will soon be carved on the merit monument. Would you like to donate incense to our temple so your name can be engraved next to his? Shen Cao readily agreed. Spring arrived and Shen Cao personally went to plant rice, accompanied by over 20 servants. Chen Yinglian also came, she was skilled at doing the work of 2 people. Fortunately, they didn't have much to plant and within a few days, they finished planting 2 fields. Next was recording the conditions of their fields and those of the villagers. Meanwhile, on Lu Shu's side, the 3rd shop was also opened. Their specially made ointment and rouge became very popular, exerting a significant influence around the 3 shops. They had to expand their team to continue producing the ointment, and Mrs. Kaihui joined them to be in charge of the drying process, receiving a monthly salary from him. Everything proceeded in an orderly manner. In the blink of an eye, it was early summer, welcoming both Lu Shu's and Shen Cao's birthdays. Mrs. Lu came specially as she was anxiously waiting for this day, fearing any mishaps might occur with Lu Shu. She did not allow him to go out and keeping him under her watchful eye, causing him to feel overwhelmed. Mom, I need to go to the restroom. I'll go with you. I'm already so old. 18 only. After today, I won't bother you anymore, okay? Lu Shu felt helpless and looked to Shen Cao for help, hoping he would distract his mother. But Shen Cao said, I'll go with you. Today, Shen Cao did not go out either, steadfastly standing guard beside Lu Shu as well. Although Lu Shu really wanted to persuade him, he also found it amusing. He gladly took his hand and said, Come on, let's go. During dinner, Lu Yuezhua presented a gift, a written document transferring all the rouge shops of the Lu family to Lu Shu for management. Did Dad agree? Lu Shu asked in surprise as he looked at the document. Rouge business was originally the enterprise I established. The employees all listened to me. If he didn't agree, would it matter? Lu Yuezhua replied. Take charge of these shops first. If you manage them well, I'll slowly transfer other properties to you. Lao Lu also intends to hand over the fabric business to you but he might need to assess you for some time. Don't worry though, with me here, you can have whatever you want. I wish you a long and healthy life. Lu Shu exclaimed. You, too, Lu Yuezhua smiled and shook hands with him. We both wish each other a long life. In the afternoon, Shen Huai's family of 3 also arrived to celebrate their birthdays. Shen Huai gave Lu Shu a bow, saying, This bow and arrows were obtained from General Yan. Treasure them. Lu Shu exclaimed, Wow! Shen Huai also gave Shen Cao a valuable set of brushes, ink, paper and inkstone obtained from Lord Zhao. Lu Shu exclaimed, Wow! You really grabbed onto them hard. Shen Huai narrowed his eyes at him and Lu Shu quickly changed his words. Dagur is mighty. After dinner, Ning Er got tired, so the family of 3 went back to rest in their room. ******. Lu Shu was still thinking about spending some private time with Shen Cao, so he said to Lu Yuezhu, "Mom, we're also tired. What time is it?" Lu Yuezhu had just finished speaking when she saw his expression and immediately understood. She cleared her throat and turned to Shen Cao, instructing him, "You two go rest. Maybe after a good night's sleep, he'll have crossed the threshold of 18. "Okay, Mom, you should rest early, too," Shen Cao said. After returning to their room, Lu Shu finally had some freedom. He asked Shen Cao to turn around and then pulled out a gift from under the bed covers, letting Shen Cao open it himself. "What's this?" Shen Cao looked in astonishment at the stack of scrolls in front of him. Counting carefully, there were 17 of them. He slowly unrolled one, his gaze pausing briefly before breaking into a heartfelt smile. "You copied all the poems from the wall?" he asked. Yet, Lu Shu had this idea since the first time he saw the poems on the wall at Shen's house. "This is your journey of growth. I really like it. Let's hang it in our home. From now on, you can write one each year, and I'll engrave it on the wall too." "Okay." Shen Cao's smile deepened as he nostalgically reviewed each script, vividly recalling his youth. After putting down the scrolls, he took Lu Shu's hand and led him to the next room. "Your gift is inside. Pick whatever you like." "Really?" Lu Shu pushed open the door. This was originally Shen Cao's study, but now it was filled with many familiar items. Snacks from Jinling, folding fans from Jinling, Yunjin silk from Jinling, hairpins from Jinling, and even a jade flute from Jinling, everything he was familiar with and used to seeing before. Even the Jinye teapot was brought. Zhang Moyang would be thrilled to see this, Lu Shu laughed. "But I don't need it. Father just put it in the guest room to show off to others." "Is that so?" Shen Cao laughed too. "Among all these things, is there anything you like?" "Everything." Lu Shu hugged him, knowing he brought so many items from Jinling because he missed home. His eyes were slightly red as he smiled and said, "But I also really like our home now. As long as I have you, everything is good." "Me, too." Shen Cao hugged him tightly, and they stayed that way for a long time. Until a loud cry separated them. They glanced at each other and hurried to the guest room, where they heard Ning Er crying about being afraid of dogs, only to find Lu Fugui had sneaked into their room. "Lu Fugui, come out," Lu Shu called. When Lu Fugui came out, perhaps from eating too much, he didn't return to his nest obediently. Instead, he started running around aimlessly and finally ran out the door. Lu Shu chased after him outside, scolding while trying to catch Lu Fugui. As he turned around, he saw Shen Cao and his mother following behind, afraid that something might happen if they were to let him out of their sight. Unable to suppress his amusement, he carried Lu Fugui over and said, "What are you all doing? It's almost midnight, and the threshold of 18 has long. Careful!" Shen Cao suddenly shouted. "Ah!" In the darkness, Lu Shu was so caught up in talking with them that he didn't notice the step in front of him. He stepped into thin air and fell flat on the ground. "So, this is the threshold of 18. Lu Shu exclaimed in frustration, pounding the ground. Lu Yuezhu and Shen Cao couldn't help but laugh with relief. *****. During the autumn harvest season, as they harvested the rice that they had grown themselves, Lu Shu and Shen Cao were delighted. Eating rice they had cultivated themselves was especially satisfying. Shen Cao began pondering if there was a way to achieve maximum yield with minimal labor, so he conducted surveys around the area, which required him to travel. Coincidentally, Lu Shu needed to oversee and deeply understand the rouge business Lu Yuezhu had entrusted to him, so the two often traveled together. It wasn't until right before the imperial examination that Lu Shu suddenly became worried. "Oh no, you've been studying these things every day. What about the exam?" "Just focus on doing well," Shen Cao reassured him. But what if you don't achieve top honors? Then I might be ridiculed, demeaned, and it might affect you. Are you afraid? I'm not afraid of anything except seeing you upset. Don't worry. I'll do my best, but if I don't achieve the expected results, I won't have any regrets. Okay, then you focus on the exam. Don't worry. There won't be any problem with supporting you, Lu Shu said confidently. After more than 2 years of hard work, Lu Shu merged his 3 shops into the Lu family and managed them together. He also launched his special rouge powder, which gained popularity nationwide and earned a considerable profit. Now he was gradually taking over other businesses, and his financial strength was not to be underestimated. The Zhang siblings were assisting him in managing the shops, and they were becoming quite adept at it. Although Lu Shu claimed not to fear Shen Cao's exam results, he was still nervous. He didn't show it to Shen Cao but privately, he consulted Hui Shang many times, prayed earnestly before the Buddha and donated incense to the temple. For Shen Cao, the provincial examination wasn't too difficult. When the results of the preliminary examination came out, Lu Shu spread the good news everywhere. Family and friends all knew that Shen Cao had achieved top honors twice in the provincial examinations, which was quite rare and attracted considerable attention. Many officials came early to the Shen residence to congratulate him. At least they were sure that he would be one of the top 3, but whether he would secure the topmost Zhongyuan position in the imperial examination remained to be seen. On the day of the final examination, Lu Shu waited outside the palace gate for a long time. Madame Shen was a little anxious. Why hasn't he come out yet? When Hui participated in the imperial examination, it only took 2 hours. What time is it now? Mom, drink some hot water. Lu Shu was afraid she'd get upset. At this moment, officials began to come out one after another, all discussing today's final examination. Lu Shu saw the figure in the distance and ran over immediately. Shen Cao caught him steadily and smiled, "Slow down. What if you fall? How did it go?" Lu Shu asked eagerly. "I'm a bit hungry," Shen Cao said. "There's food in the carriage." "What kind of food?" General Yan suddenly appeared behind them. "Can I have some, too? Standing here for so long has made me starving." Lu Shu took out several food boxes from the carriage, all kinds of delicate pastries. "Eat up, eat up." Clearly starving, even Shen Yanqing, who followed closely, didn't care about face anymore and ate pastries on the street. Passers-by shouted, "Master Shen, you are truly a model educator." Cough, cough, Shen Yanqing awkwardly swallowed the pastry and exchanged pleasantries with them. On pins and needles, Lu Shu asked anxiously, "How did it go?" Shen Cao smiled and replied, "Mission accomplished." Lu Shu widened his eyes slowly. "First place." Yet, in his final essay on agricultural and commercial development, he debated with scholars until no one in the hall dared to dispute him. His Majesty then officially appointed him as the Zhongyuan. Yan Mingting chuckled, picking out a few pastries from the food box, ready to leave. "I'll go tell Mengting that he didn't bet on the wrong person. Goodbye." Asterisk asterisk asterisk. On the day that the results were announced, Shen Cao soared to prominence in the capital. The emperor unusually appointed him as a 6th-rank Hanlin attendant. Just when everyone thought he was going to make a big impact in the Hanlin Academy, they learned that he had voluntarily applied to be a minor official in the remote Chu province. These remote areas had little resources and meager profits, usually attracting only those who had fallen out of favor or were demoted. His transfer surprised all those who had high hopes for him. Unexpectedly, during his tenure, Shen Cao vigorously developed agriculture and commerce in Chu province. He lived, ate, and worked alongside the common people, promoted governance, fostered harmony and improved living standards. Officials and civilians alike grew close, and Shen Cao gained high esteem amongst the common people. Subsequently, he was reassigned to several other places, where he similarly improved the living standards of the local populace. He encouraged business among the people and gradually reduced the social hierarchy between scholars, farmers, artisans, and merchants. In the hearts of the common people, he earned great respect. Upon becoming the prime minister, he introduced a series of policies benefiting the people, compiled his notes on agricultural practices from various regions into a book titled Complete Agricultural Records, which allowed people to learn planting methods from different places. This became an important agricultural literature for future generations. He also developed cheaper agricultural tools and implemented it nationwide, increasing agricultural output of 4 to 5 times more. The people became prosperous and the country became stronger, ushering the Xian dynasty to new heights of prosperity. At the same time, he excelled in calligraphy. The true copies and inscriptions from his home became models for future generations. Meanwhile, Lu Shu, who had always accompanied him, gradually transformed from being viewed as a merchant's son into a wealthy businessman. No one dared to look down on his background anymore. Instead, everyone respected him and sought his friendship. Most importantly, the two of them had never been apart during these years. Shen Cao worked the fields and planted rice, he sewed clothes for him. Lu Shu wore gold and silver, and he spent generously for him. According to historical records, Emperor Ming once visited Minister Shen's home at night and witnessed him sewing clothes by lamplight while his husband was copying books in distress. Inquiring about the reason, it turned out that his husband had lost a bet in the gambling house and accidentally torn his new clothes. Emperor Ming burst into laughter. The next day, Minister Shen personally arrested his husband again at the gambling house, along with Emperor Ming. Emperor Ming, I believed his provocation and went with him to survey public opinion. He even made me disguise myself. Lu Shu, ah Cao, I was really forced. His Majesty used his authority as the emperor to blackmail me. You have to believe me, ah Cao, I love you so much. Emperor Ming was persuaded by Minister Shen's argument, but the punishment of Lu Shu remained unknown. All that is known was that this young man did not leave the house for 3 or 4 days. On the 5th day, he confidently wore clothes personally sewn and mended by Minister Shen, took the eldest daughter of the Shen family and gallivanted around town, buying pearls and attending theater performances. At dusk, he was left alone, casually heading outside the palace to pick up Minister Shen so they could return home together. The end.